It is World Shaper Precon upgrade time. Now, I'm fairly new to Commander. I've only been playing maybe 6 months or so, so calling this a full-on upgrade is maybe a little presumptuous. I took the Precon, I took some things out, I added some things in to tune the deck to do more of what I wanted it to do, so whether or not it's a true upgrade is perhaps up to the opinions of others. But here's a quick look at some cards I removed. The Arcane Signet. You just don't need mana rocks here. We're playing so many lands. There's 42 lands in the deck. Groundskeeper. Return all basic lands from your graveyard to your... return a target basic land from your graveyard to your hand. We want lands to go on the battlefield, not to our hand. There's just different things through here. I'm not going to go over every single card that we removed and every single card that I added, but there is a list to my Mox field down below where you can see everything in the sideboard is what was removed from the Precon, and then the full deck list will show you what was added, of course. A couple things to highlight. So I did remove the Wastes and the Dakmor Salvage, but I want to be clear. This was to remove a combo, an infinite loop you can get yourself stuck in. I did not remove lands in terms of the number of lands. I kept 42 lands in the deck. I think that's pretty crucial. As well as I did remove Planetary Annihilation. I play a pretty casual brand of Commander, so if I just know that everyone would roll their eyes and groan when you play this, so I figured instead of dealing with that, I just pulled it out. But let's look at some cards that I added. First of all, let's look at the Commander real quick. So if you station your Commander fully, it says whenever you sacrifice a land, each opponent loses 2 life. Sorry if you can't see that very well, but that's what I wanted to tune the deck towards doing. Sacking a bunch of lands, doing enough damage. Later in the video, we're actually going to goldfish this deck. I'm going to shuffle it all up right here so you can see. But we're going to goldfish the deck, and my goal is to do 40 damage to an opponent without ever going to combat. So that's what I want the deck to be able to do. We'll see if I can actually do it. But let's look at some things we've added. So this is a pile from the, I call it the DLC kit. They did a secret layer specifically for this deck, and I added 4 of those cards in. So the Zurin Orb, 0-drop artifact, sacrifice a land to gain 2 life. Sylvan Safekeeper, sack a land, target creature gains Shroud till end of turn. Great protection, great sack outlet. Crucible of Worlds. There's a bunch of cards in the deck that I'm going to say have Crucible of Worlds effects, and when you hear that, it just means play lands from your graveyard. And then Reprocess, another sack outlet that's going to let us draw cards. So that's pretty good. Golgari, Wastewood Verge. This is a fairly, it's maybe like a $10 land, so if you don't have this one, but you do have another Golgari land sitting around, I would recommend that. So this deck predominantly uses green, secondarily uses black, and then red is kind of far behind in last place. So really just want another Golgari land. And then speaking of red being in last place, I thought add a red cycle land. So if I didn't need the red, I could cycle it to draw a card. Or if I need it, I can always play it. Also, we can recur lands from the graveyard quite a bit with this deck, so it's okay to cycle it even if maybe you need it later down the line. So there's those 2 lands that were added. Let's look at this pile. This is a pile of cards that were added that are not from Edge of Eternities. So landfall ability here on the Lotus Cobra to give you more mana. Landfall ability here to add 1/1 counters to your creatures. Now this isn't going to help us trying to deal 40 non-combat damage, but it'll help you in general. Sabo Tender, whenever a land enters, deals 1 damage each opponent. Love that effect. We're going to need it. Ob Nixilis, a similar thing. Whenever a land enters, target player loses 3 life, and then you put counters on Ob Nixilis, so pretty good there. And then Nahiri's Lethal Forming, you get to sacrifice X lands, draw a card for each, and then play an additional X land. So a bunch of sacking, and then a bunch of landfall triggers. Perfect for the deck. Let's look at some of the Edge of Eternities cards I added here. Eumidian Terrabotanist. Probably not super duper important to the deck, but he's a cool card and I like him, so he's in. Whenever a land enters, gain 1 life. And then to nuke also pings every enemy on landfall. And if this triggers twice in one turn, you get to draw a card. So a little card draw, little damage. Might Form Harmonizer. Whenever a land enters, double the power of target creature till end of turn. Again, not going to help us when we're trying to do the non-combat thing, but when you're in a normal game, doing combat damage is pretty useful. I Still Explore. Play an additional land of each of your turns, and then there's a Crucible of Worlds effect, playing lands from the graveyard. Really good here. Pull through the weft. As we're milling with I Still Explore, or as things are getting blown up, at some point we're going to want to return non-land permanents from the graveyard to our hand. That's what this does. It also takes 2 lands from our graveyard and puts them on the battlefield. So 2 landfall triggers. Really good card. And then Famished Worldsire, I'm convinced, was just built for this Precon deck. As he enters, sacrifice any number of lands, and then that number times 3 becomes his power. And then you get to look at the top X cards of your deck and play any number of lands that you find, and that number is equal to his power. So ton of sack triggers, ton of landfall triggers. Really good card for the deck. And then this is kind of just like a pile of stuff that I might take out. Just wanted to highlight some of them. So these are really good removal spells, but they are fairly expensive. If I want to get the mana curve down, I might swap those out. Tear Asunder I might swap out with something like Collective Resistance. Kind of does the same thing, but also offers some protection. But these cards are all in the deck. But I did want to highlight them, that maybe if you're seeing this in the future, these might not still be in the deck. These lands, I don't like that they ping you for 1 damage when you use the pips. But they don't enter tap, so I guess they're still pretty good. But overall, a lot of the Precon's still intact. You can see all these cards. Those are just the Precon. We've still got Corvold, Jury, Exploration Broodship, Gitrog Monster. So a lot of the hits are still in there. But anyways, so that's a quick look at some of the cards that were removed, some of the things that were added. Again, the Moxfield deck list is in the description if you want to see everything. But let's go ahead and get to the Goldfishing. So I'm probably going to speed this up so that you don't have to sit here and watch me shuffle everything. Let's Goldfish and see if we can deal 40 non-combat damage. Maybe I'll track how long it takes, I don't know. But either way, let's see if we can accomplish what the deck wants to do. Okay, we are shuffled. Let's put our deck there. Commander up here. It's a little nerve-wracking to be Goldfishing on camera. It's like, what if the deck completely flops on its face? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, let's take a look. Okay, nice. Got a lot of lands. Yeah, that's pretty good. So, bunch of lands. I would keep this hand. Let's get it. Tireless Tracker, okay. Let's just play our Myriad Landscape. Enters tapped. And then we'll pass our turn, so we'll move to turn 2. I guess I should have untapped first. Have to remember my steps. And then, ooh, what do we want to play now? Let's go ahead and just put in, we're probably not going to have 2 basic lands, so let's just let Cinderglade go ahead and enter tapped. That way on turn 3, we can get some things done. So go ahead and go to turn 3, draw. Swamp, nice. So I lied, we could have, but that's okay. Let's put in our forest, and then I think I'm going to tap down to put in Tireless Tracker. So Tireless Tracker, landfall, we create a clue token. So let's just draw cards on landfall. So, oh, I don't have my tokens over here. Please hold. Okay, I've got them. Okay, so we'll go to turn 4 now. We'll draw. Escape Tunnel, sacrifice this land, search library. Okay, nice. So we got our first land sack. Let's just put in a swamp, keep it simple. Ooh, oh, when that swamp enters, we will create a, okay, I've got to have a clue token in here, right? Yes, perfect. create a clue token. Sacrifice this token, draw a card. So we've got 4 mana. We've got access to each color. Let's just go ahead and bring our commander in. And then we're going to tap Tireless Tracker down to put 3 station counters on our commander, which is allowing them to, for 1 and a tap, we can sack a land, draw 2 cards, play an additional land this turn. So we can now do that. We are tapped on mana. I didn't show it, but we are. We're gonna go ahead and go to our next turn, turn 5, draw. Very nice, Crucible of Worlds. Okay, so first things first, let's see if we get anything good here. Sacrificing X lands. I tell you what, I think what we'll do, I don't have super good landfall triggers yet. So let's tap to put in our Evindo Brush Razor. So we'll need 2 and a red for Evindo Brush Razor. Whenever you sacrifice land, exile top card of your library. And as long as you sacrifice a land, you may play those cards. So we'll do that. And then we will, of course, play our land for turn. We'll just go ahead and put in Escape Tunnel. We can tap it, sacrifice it, search for a basic land. We're not gonna crack it just yet. We are gonna go up to 2 clue tokens, which I think what I'm gonna do is, let's see. Oh, this is perfect. So we can station both of these. That'll give us 5. So we're gonna go up to 8 now. So Hearthhull is now fully online. As a creature, whenever you sacrifice a land, each opponent loses 2 life. So that's exactly what we're about to do. We're gonna pay 1 Myriad Landscape, tap him, and we're actually gonna sacrifice this land. So, an opponent just took 2 damage. We get to draw 2 cards, and we get to play an additional land this turn. Also, whenever we sacrifice a permanent, exile the top card of your library. I might have done that wrong. I might need to do that before I draw the 2 cards, but either way, let's see what we're exiling. A mountain, cool. This will be our graveyard over here. So we're exiling a mountain. Make sure we keep that to where I'm not gonna accidentally grab it. And then, as long as you sacrifice a permanent this turn, you may play cards exiled with this creature. So we do get to play an extra land this turn from our sack. So we'll actually bring in this mountain. It's untapped. We're gonna go to 3 clue tokens now. And because we're fully online with Hearthhull, I am gonna go ahead and tap Escape Tunnel to sacrifice this land to search for a basic land. So you know what that's gonna do is boop, boop. 2 more damage. Exile 1 more card from the top. Ooh, Eumidian Terrabotanist, I like him. So let's go search for a basic land. I will say there's a lot of shuffling that's gonna go on with this deck. We'll just have a Forest enter tapped, which will create another clue token, my goodness. For the sake of the goldfish, I'm not gonna do all of the shuffling that's required. You can hate me, that's fine. But I'm just gonna pull from the bottom and then keep playing from the top. I think it would be a little too much to do all the shuffling just to show the goldfishing. So sorry if this isn't the most realistic experience, but let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we've got 7. There's nothing else we can do here with 1 mana. So we're gonna end our turn. Let's go ahead and untap. I don't even know if I'm gonna use these clue tokens, to be honest with you. But let's draw. Blasphemous Act, well, okay. I'm not gonna need that, I don't think. So what we're gonna do is tap down. Let's see, what pips might I need here? Could need some red, actually, as soon as I say that we don't need a bunch of red. Let's actually tap 1, 2, and 3 here for Jund to play our Crucible of Worlds. So you may play lands from your graveyard. So what I'm gonna do is our land for turn is now going to be the escape tunnel. Escape tunnel enters, one more clue token. I might stop tracking these clue tokens at 6 because I don't think I'm ever going to use them. I should swap this out for something that creates like treasure on landfall, the tireless provisioner or whatever. So escape tunnel, land for turn, we're going to sacrifice it. Ka-ching. Which is going to, of course, deal 2 more damage. And I think this goes off first. Tell me if I'm goldfishing entirely wrong, but I'm going to go ahead and exile the top card. Ooh, Lotus Cobra. And then I'm going to go to the bottom again, hopefully find a basic land, which eventually is going to run out. Okay, we'll put in another forest. Enters tapped. But anyways, that will trigger, yes, we're going to go to 6 clues. I'm going to stop tracking clues. Done. Done. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So, well, let's keep going with Hearth Hull. For 1, we'll pay. And a tap, we can sack a land. Sure, we'll throw away the forest. You know what that's going to do? Beep, beep. And then we also will exile a card. Farseek, nice. We get to play an additional land this turn. So we're going to play Command Tower. That, of course, would create us another clue, but I'm tired of that. Get a clue. During your turn, as long as you sacrifice a non-token permanent, which we have, you may play cards exiled with this creature. So I'm going to tap these 2, and we're actually just going to bring in our Lotus Cobra to give us some more mana on these landfall triggers. And let's go ahead and we'll end our turn right there. We're out of mana, so we'll untap. I don't remember what turn we're on, but I'm having a good time. So we'll draw. Ooh, nice, okay. So this can make you have a really wide board as you sack lands, create these 5/3s. Let's see here. Play an additional. So because I have Crucible of Worlds out, and because, well, actually, let's see here. Let's see what we can do. Do I keep ramping? You know what? Yeah, let's ramp a little bit more. So this turn, we're mostly going to ramp. When this enters, sacrifice a land, search your library of 2 basic lands, put on battlefield tapped. So we're going to tap 2 and a green for this guy. When he enters, we may sack a land, so we will. Boom. You know the process of all that. 2 more damage. Exile a card. Okay, Rakdos Charm. We get to go search for 2 basic lands. That's going to get more and more difficult. Oh, there we go. Swamp. It's going to enter tapped. A forest. It's going to enter tapped. Stack my deck back up. More clues. Blah, blah, blah. Oh, that actually does something good. So we just created 2 floating mana with the Lotus Cobra. I'm happy now. Up to 2 basic lands. Yep, okay. And then let's go ahead and let's use both of that floating mana to play Nature's Lore. Search for a forest. Put it on the battlefield. Tapped. So our floating mana will go away. Let's see if we can find a forest in here somewhere, please. That's another thing. You could run out of basic lands at a certain point. Let's see. Have I hit that point? I don't think so. This is just full-on cheating at this point. I'm getting to see the top of my deck. Forest, okay. I didn't quite get to the top of the deck, so we're doing good. So that's going to create another floating mana as that enters. And so I think, okay, yeah, we're gearing up for a big lithoforming next turn. Let's see, if it was kicked, search your library for basic land, reveal it, put it in your hand, then shuffle. So yeah, we will tap for red and then use our floating, and we'll kick it with green to play our Sprouting Goblin. Whenever he enters, feels kicked, search for a basic land, all the stuff. So he's coming in. Search for another basic land. Not a forest this time because I might be out of them. Oh geez, I might be out of everything. Basic land, basic land. This is such a good problem to have, by the way. So that land enters, it's tapped, creates a floating here in our Lotus Cobra. And then actually we're gonna use this one to pay for Hearthhole to tap and sack a land. We'll just sack one of these forests. So you know what that's gonna do. Ping. And then we're going to exile another card. Ooh, I still explore. Very nice. So let's end our turn there. Remember, we're not going to combat or anything. Let's untap all these lands. And then we will draw. Land War Wastes. So we can tap that for colorless. Let's go ahead and do this. Let's do something crazy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I don't even know what this is necessarily going to do, but here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna play Land War Wastes. It'll enter, that'll create a floating for the Lotus Cobra, and then we're gonna play Nahiri's Lithoforming. So for that, we need 2 red here. And then sacrifice X lands. For each land sacrificed this way, draw a card, play an additional X lands. So here we go. We're about to do something humongous. So X is going to be, I'm actually going to use this floating. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we just, oh, well, actually, sacrifice X lands. So I'm actually going to go ahead and sacrifice, oh, no. Yeah, I see. So I'm going to sacrifice 8 lands. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, then the floating, that was 8. That's going to ping from our commander to do 16 damage. 16 damage. We now get to draw 8 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And we get to, oh, it's so over. It's so over. Okay, we did it, I think. Anyways, we get to play 8 lands. They all enter tapped. So what we could do is just empty our hand. So I have 1, 2, so that we don't have to go to discard. 3, that's Bajuka Bog, so we could target some other player's library. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we'll have to go to discard. But I've just played 3 lands. We can play 8. Recall that Crucible of Worlds we can play from the graveyard. So I can go get 5 lands from my graveyard. They all enter tapped. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So those are all entering tapped, but recall that we've got Lotus Cobra out, who now has just created 8 floating mana. 8 floating mana from Lotus Cobra, which is the perfect cost to play the Famished Worldsire for 8. And he devours any number of lands when he comes in. So we're going to spend all of those on green, play the Famished Worldsire. We're going to sack 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 lands. Sacrificing 10 lands alone is going to do 20 damage. Hello. So we've just done enough damage. I don't even know what turn this is, but the synergy went off right there. Nahiri's Lithoforming set up a big card draw, which led us to Famished Worldsire. Also, Crucible of Worlds allows us to play all the lands we sacrificed. So I'm not even done with the resolution of Famished Worldsire. So we've already done what we wanted to do, but let's go ahead and see it through, because if I'm sacrificing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 lands to him, he becomes a 30/30. So he is a 30/30 creature. We get to look at the top 30 cards of our library. 1, 2, 30, my goodness. And then we get to play any number of lands from here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Here we go. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So we would get 15 landfall triggers, not to mention, look at some of these, man. This land sacrifices itself. We can't do that this turn. We can do it next turn. Sacrifices itself next turn, so we're doing even more damage. This sacrifice as it enters. So this would deal 2 more damage from our Hearth Hole. Fabled Passage, tap to sack. This also tap to sack. So we were lucky enough to pull Famished Worldsire, which ended the game. This would have been enough to deal 40 damage to everyone, not just one player. I think that's key to note. So I don't know what round it is. I don't know what turn it is. We haven't even fully resolved this because we'd have to be sacking these lands at enter and stuff like that. But for the sake of the Goldfish, we succeeded, so I'll just call it there. Of course, I did some pretty nefarious things. I didn't shuffle my deck and all that like I should have. I stopped creating clue tokens so long ago. We probably have like 40 by now that I would have never used. But I'm so happy. I'm so happy that worked. I'm so happy that we got there. 40 damage to every opponent, never going to combat. This is what I want the deck to do. So that was a look at what I have done to the Precon. Hopefully you like it. Hopefully you maybe are inspired by something that happened here. Please add Famished Worldsire to your deck. Thank you very much for watching. I'll catch you in the next one.